Is that Joe Bluth's magic show or the launch week of Black Ops Cold War? Because I hear the final countdown somewhere off in the distance. We're officially now in the launch week for Black Ops Cold War. In just a few short days, we'll have the opportunity to jump into a new year, a new title, and new support for the coming game ahead from campaign, multiplayer, zombies, and eventually Warzone. So we'll have a lot to do over the coming weeks and months, and to get you ready for all of that, I figured we'd take some time today and discuss the 20 things you need to know for launch of Black Ops Cold War. As we go along, let me know your thoughts down below. What's one thing that you're looking forward to, or maybe not so much, with the upcoming year, and perhaps something that we may have missed here that we can get a communal discussion going of all things that we should be ready for with launch. As well, if you are new to the channel, do be sure that subscribe button, especially if you're a part of that nearly 64% of viewers who are not subscribed, as we're on the road to 400,000 subscribers, and we'll keep you up to date with any and all things you need to know in relation to Black Ops Cold War as we round into an exciting launch period. If you'd like to join the community, I'd love to have you. That said, let's talk about the important things that you need to know. Number one, let's talk about the launch times, because this year we've got a few more platforms on the table to discuss, but thankfully the information doesn't change too much depending on where you're playing. For consoles of PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, Xbox Series S and X, Black Ops Cold War will be playable at midnight your local time for Friday, November 13th. So that means that you'll be able to play at midnight in Australia, Russia, Germany, the United Kingdom, and elsewhere wherever it turns midnight. For North America, however, it's a little bit different, with this game having different launch times depending on the time region you are in across the US, Canada, and Mexico. Black Ops Cold War on consoles will launch at midnight Eastern time for the entirety of North America, meaning that it'll be 9 p.m. Pacific time and 11 p.m. Central time that you can jump in if you are behind Eastern time. One thing to note is that some console launches may also have different dates per region, so you'll have to factor that into play, obviously, with, say, PlayStation 5 launching on the 12th for some, but in locations like Europe, the Middle East, South America, Asia, South Africa, and others, the PlayStation 5 launches on the 19th, so that immediate PS5 Cold War launch is kind of irrelevant at that point. For PC, as per usual, though, it's not quite the same as consoles and a little bit more convoluted, because BNet, or Battle.net, the first-party client for Activision Blizzard games, allows the game to have public access all at once. Right now, it is listed that the game will launch on PC at 9 p.m. Pacific time, which is 11 p.m. Central time, midnight Eastern, lining up with that North American launch, but also that means that because it is all at one time and it's not releasing locally at midnight for elsewhere in the world, that means that it will be playable on PC at 4 p.m. in Sydney, Australia, 2 p.m. in Seoul, South Korea, 1 p.m. in Singapore, 8 a.m. in Moscow, 6 a.m. in Berlin and Stockholm, 5 a.m. in London, and then wherever it may be that you're also in a different time zone for that. So launches can sometimes be a little confusing in their timing, but that's what we have here for all the platforms available at launch. Second thing I want to talk about is preloading and file size. Now, PlayStation 4 and PS5 digital pre-orders actually can be pre-downloaded right now in the store. This is something that if you do have a console, you can jump in, start this process immediately. For most commercial units, though, the PS5 naturally isn't out just yet, so once you get it, you can immediately pre-download it, but the game is pre-downloadable from the PlayStation Store. It has 95 gigabytes on PlayStation 4 and will be 133 gigabytes on PlayStation 5. Each of these come with the content packs that will need to be downloaded as a part of the 3 modes of the game. But what's also nice is that you can actually go in and uninstall specific mode packs like we've seen with Modern Warfare, so freeing up a little bit of space if you don't plan on, say, playing multiplayer, zombies, or campaign, any of those combinations of them. Xbox One, Series S and X, as like the PS4 and 5, for existing consoles and those in hand, you can get this via the Microsoft Store and the Xbox Store if you pre-order digitally. For those waiting on the Xbox Series X and S, again, your preload can begin for digital pre-order starting tomorrow, Tuesday, November 10th, as those consoles go out for distribution. On Xbox, you'll see file sizes of 93 gigabytes on Xbox One and 136 gigabytes on Xbox Series X and S. Additionally, the game packs are also available here for this, so if you want to uninstall something else, you can. For PC users, right now, if you've pre-ordered digitally, the only way to do so on PC, you can't pre-download it just yet, but you can as of tomorrow, November 10th at 10 a.m. Pacific time. So just a tad more of a holdout and a wait for PC users, but the file sizes will be looking like 35 gigabytes for multiplayer only, 82 gigabytes for the full game, and 125 gigabytes for the full game on ultra graphics, likely requiring an extra added texture pack with higher resolution assets. This too comes with the ability to manage what parts you'd like to download or uninstall once completed. The third topic of discussion I want to talk about is, of course, the wide range of content you'll be getting at launch. This is the full game here, unlike Black Ops 4, where we had Blackout in place of a campaign. We end up having campaign, multiplayer with 6v6 combined arms and fire team, zombies, and Warzone a little bit later later on will be getting integrated coming soon. Right now, it's rumored a little bit closer than we thought initially because the blog post detailing the first integrations said December 10th, the DLC 1 launch time for Cold War. But as of a new recent message of the day that we saw within Warzone, it looked to maybe integrate the weaponry for Cold War into Warzone at launch. The game itself, setting for campaign, multiplayer, and even zombies, is the early 1980s at the height of the Cold War. This chronologically taking place after Black Ops 1, but before Black Ops 2, following a more immediate route for the storyline right after Black Ops 1, continuing on and filling in some of those gaps that we had between those times. For some of the fundamental ways of play, we are going to see some more carryovers like the free DLC, cross-play, new cross-generation play, and cross-save continuing, which is all, I think, fantastic. We talked about this fundamentally for Call of Duty yesterday in our review video for Modern Warfare. I think that's absolutely fantastic. Who doesn't love free DLC? It keeps the players around longer throughout the year, doesn't fragment any of that player base. Cross-play is great to be able to play with your friends regardless of what platform they're on. With new cross-generation play as well, you can get that new hardware or hold out and still play with your friends who either got it or did not get it, and nothing will be changing at that point. Cross-save is, of course, continuing as well, so that if you end up getting the game on PS4 or PS5 and you want to jump over and get it again and play it on PC, you can do so, sign in with your Activision account, and everything is exactly the same, minus some of the exclusives, which we'll come back to in a little bit. As for the styles of play, jumping over to more so multiplayer in Black Ops Cold War because campaign's pretty straightforward. In MP, you're going to see 6v6, 12v12 with combined arms, Fire Team, which is 10 teams of 4 for 40 players, and later on in the year with DLC 1, as of next month, this coming December 10th, 2v2 is going to be coming as well. So you'll have a wide range of ways to play the game, and of course, across a ton of different maps, different modes, and of course, with all kinds of weaponry. For those maps that we currently know, there's a handful, but I would not expect this to only be it. Of course, we saw these in the alpha and the beta, 6v6 play, Miami, Satellite, and Moscow. Then Cartel, Armada, and Crossroads all can play on 6v6, and we saw that with the VIP escort mode, but they're better suited for, of course, combined arms and that 12v12 play. Then we saw Ruka and Alpine, known as the Fire Team maps. Those are, again, accommodating 40 players, a whole host of different vehicles and environmental challenges, and Nuketown will be coming post-launch, finishing out the maps that we know about this coming post-launch, but before DLC 1, with a scheduled launch date right now of November 24th. Now, that is absolutely, in my mind, not the only maps we're going to see, of course, especially because that's like 3 across each of the main modes of play. There's definitely going to be more here with this, so you'll have a lot more to experience on launch day. The weapons that we know of so far from the beta, we saw the XM4, the AK-47, the Krig 6, the QBZ-83, the MP5, the Milano 821, the AK-74U, the KSP-45, the M16, the Type 63, the RPD, the Stoner 63, the LW3 Tundra, the Pellington 703, the Gallo SA-12, the Hauer 77, the 1911, the Diamatti, the Magnum, the Sigma 2, the RPG, and the Knife. Now, I'd expect a few more of these to come in the full game if we follow some sort of patterns that we'll see actually happening a lot within Cold War, because if I'm not mistaken, Modern Warfare had 38 or 39 weapons at launch, and right now that list that we just rattled off is only in the 20s. So we saw, of course, the beta introducing a slight sliver and an appetizer of what we'll see with the full game, so of course you can expect more, a couple of each weapon classification across each of those at launch. Number 9 on this list is, of course, the return of Gunsmith, talking about some of the things that we'll see here coming from Modern Warfare and continuing on into Black Ops Cold War. Gunsmith is, again, one of those features that is fantastic, I think, giving a nice in-depth level of customization for your weapon, offering up various different attachments for each subsection of your weapon, and this time coming along with detailed stats, whereas Modern Warfare did not have this, offering up specific values instead of just stat bars that you could see moving up or down depending on what you end up equipping for that weapon loadout. Number 10 here at the halfway mark, create a class sees the return of wildcards, familiar perks, and of course more, with wildcards like Perk Greed allowing you to take one of every category if you want for those 3, Lawbreaker allowing you to use over or under kill, taking either 2 primaries or 2 secondary weapons, Gunfighter allowing you to take 8 attachments and not sacrifice other things of your setup. Perks like Ninja will be sort of your dead silence, which was something that was taken out within Modern Warfare and instead replaced as a field upgrade, so you'll see some of those familiar designed elements coming into play as well. You will have, from Modern Warfare, field upgrades continuing on also. So weapon customization and loadout customization should have quite a bit of depth to it. Moving along to the topic of camos, this is something that we do actually have a decent look at some of the stuff we'll be seeing in terms of at least design aesthetic for what we can expect with Cold War. We've already seen across a various different number of things: the Land, Sea, and Air Pack, the beta, Milano 821 blueprint, what we saw with the seasonal prestige system debuted, the confrontations weapon pack, some of the zombie onslaught, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5 exclusive blueprints. This stuff looks to be right out of the gate actually kind of vibrant, something that has a little bit more fun with camos right out of the gate, as opposed to waiting 6-7 months before we start to get our first real camos that are vibrant, have a bit more color to them. So it looks like Treyarch and Raven are going to be going back to having some more fun with these camos, which, as for things like your gold, diamond, and dark matter equivalents of weapon camos, we have no idea what those will be just yet, but time will tell here, and there's likely going to be that system in place. But blueprints will be returning. I think I remember hearing a rumor that universal camos will also be making a return in some regard, but that's not confirmed. But the blueprint system absolutely is, since we get that shown off with a lot of the blueprints we've already seen debuted to us across those various number of ways to achieve them. Now, another thing to be aware of here within these 20 things is the new ranking system, something that is a hybrid between what was introduced with Modern Warfare that kind of turned some people off to the longevity play of Modern Warfare, but also reintroducing an element of a seasonal prestige system that will hope to recapture that flame for some players that love to grind out the game. Now, the difference here with this is that you still have that 1 to 55, which is going to be your military ranks, as it's called, in which you only have to go through those once, and then from there on out, the rest of the year, everything is unlocked through those 1 to 55. Those base weapons, field upgrades, kill streaks, perks, you name it, those are all there forever. No matter if you cross over into a new seasonal prestige, no matter if you end up having that seasonal reset, you'll always have that done. But what's different this year is that prestiges are additive, so that in Season 0, the preseason before DLC 1, you're going to have the ability to get up to rank 200 before hitting Master Prestige and going to level 1000, but in that time, you'll end up being able to get to Seasonal Prestige 3. Then whenever DLC 1 and Season 1 kicks in, you'll have 4 more prestiges added that you can go through, in which you can go all the way up to Prestige 7. So it's definitely a different system than before, but trying to kind of mash the two systems that we've seen both in Modern Warfare and then traditional Call of Duties with prestige systems all together. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. Not sure if I like this or dislike it just yet, but right now, it's different. Number 13 up on this list is the continuation of more seasonal items and DLC drops. There will be the introduction, like officer challenges within Modern Warfare, seasonal challenges that hopefully are dealt with a little better, I think, because this is something you can get for both MP and zombies, rewarding calling cards with various challenges finished. Whenever you end up getting all 20 calling cards in both MP or in zombies, it doesn't have to be both, but so long as you complete the 20 of the set, you'll get an additional seasonal mastery calling card. So something that, again, for grinders, they can go out, but doesn't really affect the casual player all that much. Seasonal DLC drops will continue again with new seasons introducing new content, like how Modern Warfare did it and how we're still currently living through it within Season 6 now of Modern Warfare. Then moving on, the Battle Pass will also continue. Again, we're talking about some of these trends that seem to carry over and keep going into Black Ops Cold War. There are no loot boxes as we saw with games before Modern Warfare, so that's definitely nice. What's interesting though is that with the integration of Warzone and Modern Warfare in December, all 3 games will be progressing Cold War's Battle Pass. And kind of coming back to the last topic of discussion here, that ranking system will actually affect all 3 games whenever it comes time for DLC 1 in December, meaning that not only will that Battle Pass progress, but if you play Modern Warfare, your Black Ops Cold War rank will also progress because it's all tethered together. Modern Warfare, Warzone, and Black Ops Cold War. But only as of December 10th and later. Initially, you're going to have your own independent rank for Black Ops Cold War and Modern Warfare and Warzone. Number 15 on this list is the fact that there are quite a lot of other similarities between Modern Warfare and Cold War. Both of these share the same UI system, the same layout with that. They share similar customization options. They share a similar and soon to be identical ranking system as we just mentioned. They share operators and how they work. They share the same Battle Pass functionality, and they share things like the same shop functionality. So Modern Warfare will definitely feel very much so, at least outside of the gameplay portion of the game, very similar to Black Ops Cold War. Jumping over to some zombies, you'll be able to jump in with Die Maschine, the brand new zombies experience within Black Ops Cold War on launch day. So if you're a zombies fan, that's going to be something to definitely take part in. And I'm curious to see if they hold out for the Easter eggs or if they're live from the first moment so that it might be staggered in terms of who can access what at what rate. Black Ops 4, if I'm not mistaken, held off on about a week, I think, for Easter eggs. But additionally, number 17 on this list, there will be new fundamentals to zombies. Things like loadouts. There's no need to start with a starting pistol. You can choose what weapon you want to start with. Score streaks will be there. There's an armor system in place, and there's going to be exfil sequences and tasks that you can do. So fundamentally, zombies will add in a lot more ways to play the game, whereas you can still, yes, play the same survival-based game mode that you're used to. You can also go for finishing the game, per se. You can also change entirely how you approach different scenarios. So it'll be cool to see how this progresses over the year and what we see introduced with each map, but I'm definitely intrigued and will be jumping in on day one to play some zombies. Jumping over to Warzone, that's where we're going to be starting to talk about some stuff coming in the future, but the integration is currently scheduled for December 10th. It's Season 1's launch for Cold War, but as of recently, there was that conflicting report, as we mentioned earlier. The official blog post stated that DLC 1 would be that launch date for the integration for Cold War and Warzone, but a recent message of the day from Modern Warfare stated that at launch, which is this Friday, weaponry would be playable within Cold War into Warzone, which is the exact opposite of what we heard from the official Activision blog, but also could be the reason why we see a 30+ gigabyte download for Modern Warfare with 1 week left in its life cycle here, or main year of support, so close to the launch of Black Ops Cold War. We don't know, but that could be a hunch here at this one. The second to last thing I want to talk about is that of a new map for Warzone is coming, but not at launch. Right now, again, according to that DLC 1 roadmap that we had here, or at least post-launch roadmap from Call of Duty, it showcased that we'd end up getting a new Warzone experience on December 10th with the launch of Season 1 for Cold War. Now, if you take a little bit deeper of a dive into that redacted statement that we see in the image associated with that, it actually mentions Rebirth Island's real-life counterpart that it was based upon. So if you follow that, Rebirth Island was recently found within the Warzone files to be a restructured, repurposed Alcatraz from Blackout, but built for Warzone, being a secondary subset sort of map, if you will, like Alcatraz was for Blackout. So it's very likely that we see this coming later on down the line in just over a month's time. The final thing we'll close out this video with here today is talking about exclusives, because unfortunately, there is some exclusives. While we end up getting that free DLC throughout the year, while we see no delays in when that DLC is distributed, while we see crossplay being a thing that is introduced and continued on from Modern Warfare, where Sony recoups some of their money from the already existing licensing deals with Activision and Call of Duty, is with some of these more minor exclusives. The subcategory of zombies, Zombies Onslaught, which is basically survival, it looks like, but on MP maps, that is something that is not going to be available to Xbox One, Xbox Series S, or Series X players, as well as PC players until November 1st of 2021 next year. Same thing goes for a few things that was recently detailed in a PlayStation exclusive only trailer, talking about how there will be Battle Pass bundle bonuses for PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 users, which means that when you buy the Battle Pass, instead of getting that bundle with the 20 tier skips, you'll end up getting 25 if you're on PlayStation 4 or PS5. Everyone else gets those same 20. There also will be PlayStation Party bonuses, which means if you play on PlayStation 4 or 5 with other users playing on PlayStation 4 or 5, all of you in that party get a 25% weapon XP bonus. There also will be double XP bonuses once a month, where players will be able to get a 24-hour additional double XP event going on for their entire soldier rank. Then finally, there will be extra loadout slots, 2 of them in addition to the custom class slots available upon reaching level 4 right out of the gate with Black Ops Cold War. Again, all of these unfortunately are exclusive until November 1st of 2021, so lasting a whole year like Survival did for Modern Warfare. But that is the 20 things that you need to know about here before the launch of Black Ops Cold War, so that's where we're going to wrap it up. I would love to get your thoughts and feedback down there in the comment section down below. Anything that we may have missed that you think is really important to know about launch, anything you're really looking forward to, or maybe not so much, feel free to let me know your thoughts down below. But hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you drop a like down below. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Black Ops Cold War, Warzone, and Modern Warfare where applicable. So if you guys are interested in any of that, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing. If you also want to follow me over on Twitter and Instagram, those are the best places to get content outside of YouTube. I live on both those. So if you guys want to strike up a conversation, ask me a question, whatever it may be, that link is down there in the description below. That said, thanks so much for watching. My name is Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care. and peace.